What's up guys, JV2017 here, and obviously as you can tell I am bringing something new to my channel. This is Borderlands the pre-sequel, which is a game that came out a few days ago, and honestly it's a lot like Destiny, and I've realized after playing this game a bit over the last few days that there is some content that I could bring to you guys that's informational, entertaining, interesting, that kind of stuff, some tips and tricks kind of things that I pretty much do with Destiny that could apply here, because this game is fairly similar. It's not the same, however there are some nice little things that I'd like to share with you all, and I think it'd be fun. So basically, depending on how this video does, I will use that as a determining factor on whether or not I continue to cover this game. So today I'd like to look at a skill tree, basically give you guys a skill tree overview is what I'd like to call it, for Nisha, who is the Lawbringer not Guardian, I'm so used to Destiny, Vault Hunter of Borderlands. So basically Nisha revolves around her action skill, as each Vault Hunter does, and her action skill is pretty interesting. It's basically an aimbot. Once you activate it, you automatically aim at enemies that are on your screen. So it's kind of like a field of view thing. You can't just like auto aim at someone that's behind you, but anybody that's on your screen, you auto aim at them and shoot at them until they die, and it automatically switches to another character that you want to shoot and kill. So this action skill gives you increased gun damage, fire rate, reload speed, accuracy, and bullet speed. So it's very, very powerful, and of course you can buff and augment this skill even more throughout these different skill trees. But today we're going to focus on the Fan the Hammer, which is the middle skill tree here, and honestly it looks like my favorite, so that's why I wanted to cover it, and it's the one that I have the most experience with thus far in the game. Obviously I'm only level 11 at this point, but if I continue to cover this game and you guys enjoy these videos, I will be a higher level and be able to fully flesh out these skill trees for you all and talk a little more intelligently about them and in depth. So anyways, we're going to go through here in the Fan the Hammer. The highlight of this tree really is the final skill. That's pretty much true with all of the skill trees, and it allows you to basically dual wield permanently when you're using pistols. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but the meat of this tree also revolves around augmenting our Showdown skill, just making it more effective, and that's why I enjoy it. So in this first tier, I really like these first two skills, Saddle Up and Ruthless. So Saddle Up is a kill skill. Every time you kill an enemy, you will get increased movement speed and gun damage for a short time. So I like this because this is almost permanent. The only time you need this increased gun damage, I mean, you could say that you would like, movement speed at all times, but the only time you'll need increased gun damage is when you're in combat, and when you're in combat, you're going to be killing enemies. So it's almost like this is a passive increase whenever you're in combat to your gun damage by 25%. That's a fairly large chunk. So that's why I really like Saddle Up. I think it's definitely worth the 5 out of 5 points in that category. I also like Ruthless, which increases the duration of your Showdown, which is again the action skill, and it's per kill. So you'll get half a second every time you kill an enemy. If there are 20 enemies on the screen, you'll get an extra 10 seconds of this action skill, considering or assuming that you kill all of those enemies, of course. But it's nice because sometimes Showdown seems not long enough. It's only a duration of 6 seconds, and it can be increased with this Ruthless skill. So in the second tier, I'm not a big fan of either of these, skills, to be honest, because the Magnificent Six, this kind of relies on the fact that you have to use a weapon that doesn't have elemental damage. And most of the time, really good weapons have elemental damage, and it's only the last 6 bullets. So if you have a giant clip weapon, it doesn't make a lot of sense to run that skill. That's just my opinion on that. And Bottled Courage is more of a defensive skill. It has to do with shields and recharge and all of that. And really, I'm not a huge fan of defensive skills in this game. I like to kill, and I like to kill fast. So that's why I typically wouldn't go for that skill either. Shortfused. This is another kill skill. So whenever you kill an enemy, your shots will deal explosive damage for a short time. So the closer the enemy is to you, you will also deal higher damage, and it's up to 35%. So you want to be close to your enemies, and pretty much I would take this skill, because once you take this skill, you will automatically be graduated to the 4th tier of skills here. So this skill, this skill tree also has a kind of a little bit of another arc in it, so to speak. So this pickpocket skill, wow, that was interesting. This pickpocket little skill here basically allows you to steal bullets from your enemies every time you use your melee attack. So it doesn't work with rocket launcher ammo, unfortunately, and you can do it unlimitedly. There's no cooldown. I think I'm making up all kinds of words in this video. There's no cooldown for this. You can just do it over and over, and it kind of coincides with this "hell's coming with me" skill right here, which is after you reload or reach into your maximum clip with pickpocket, which again is the skill we just talked about, you have an increased chance to fire twice your gun. So with one bullet, you have a chance to basically duplicate that bullet, and you can, increase that up to 45%, I believe, is the chance there. So that's a pretty good chance. But it really depends on your playstyle. If you like to play up close, I would choose this playstyle. However, I don't really, prefer doing that. So anyways, that's just my opinion on that. So we have Faster Than You, which is just kind of another passive, upgrade, I guess you could say, that is kind of the same as Saddle Up, but this time we are getting fire rate, weapon swap speed, and reload speed increases all the way up to 35% every time we kill an enemy. So, reload speed and fire rate are really nice. Weapon swap is okay too, because sometimes there's very slow weapon swap in this game. So that's an alright, kind of ability there. And then Gunslinger. I really like Gunslinger because sometimes what this skill does is it'll instantly reload your gun every time you start Showdown and you end Showdown. And it's very frustrating to have to reload in Showdown. I've already done it several times, and it's really frustrating. It feels like I'm really missing out. And so if you have this skill, you'll instantly reload every time you start and end in Showdown. It's a very nice little augment to this skill, and it makes a lot of sense because, again, it can get frustrating sometimes, and that's what that skill is used for. So again, we're going to visit the 5th tier here and talk about High Noon. You gain a bonus to gun damage the longer you are in Showdown. So that kind of, it synergizes with Ruthless. So if you kill a bunch of enemies, you'll get bonus Showdown duration with Ruthless, and then you can even further, capitalize on that with High Noon, and this can be upgraded all the way to 15% gun damage per second that you're in Showdown. So if you're in Showdown for 15 seconds, you will get 15% gun damage for 10 seconds after Showdown is over, which is pretty cool. Pretty nice little upgrade there. And then finally, the highlight of this tree here is one for each of you, which you basically get a duplicate of the pistol you have in your main hand and your offhand, and you can use both. However, you can use iron sights, which is just the left trigger, or L2 if you're using a PS3, or is it L1? It's probably L1, to just aim down your iron sights and have a more accurate shot, which is pretty cool. So Fan the Hammer. I like this skill tree. I really do. It's my favorite out of the ones that I've tried so far. And, obviously, like I said, I'm a level 11, so I haven't had extensive experience. However, my, recommended, I guess, build, you could say, for Fan the Hammer, just to get to the end, not to actually fill it out and get everything, would be to fill out Saddle Up and Ruthless, and then skip these two. I'm not a big fan of these two, like I said. Get Shortfused, and then spend 5 points in Gunslinger, 5 points in High Noon, and finally get one for each of you. So that's really my build for Nisha. I really like this build. It centers around Showdown and augmenting that, as well as, having the dual pistols, which is very badass. So anyways, guys, that's all I have for you. This was my Fan the Hammer Nisha the Lawbringer skill overview, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this, I really would like to hear from you all. Leaving a little like definitely tells me that you want to see more of this, and also a comment as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed, I hope it informed you, and I will talk to you all next time. Peace!